The pregnancy test was positive. The ultrasound photos were real. The baby never existed. And my mother's prayer book held the proof all along. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it started. 6 days before my wedding. Sacred Heart Church. Late evening. I'd driven over to check the final details. The rehearsal was supposed to be the next day, but I was the kind of person who double-checks everything. My grandmother's church key felt heavy in my pocket, cold metal against my palm. She'd given it to me before she passed, told me I'd get married there someday, just like she did, just like my parents did. The parking lot was empty except for Mr. Patterson's pickup truck, the janitor. He waved from across the lot, heading to his vehicle. "Locking up, Connor," he called. "I've got my key." I held it up. "Just need to check the bridal suite real quick." He nodded and drove off. The church was quiet. That heavy kind of silence you only get in old buildings with thick stone walls. My footsteps echoed on the marble floor as I walked toward the bridal suite in the back. Amanda had left some things there earlier. Decorations, seating charts, her purse. The door to the bridal suite was unlocked. I should have turned around, but I didn't. I pushed it open, and I heard them before I saw them. Amanda's voice, breathless. "After the wedding, we'll have access to everything." A man's voice, not mine. "Just a few more days, babe, then we're set." His dad's worth millions, the trust fund, the estate. I opened that door. Amanda, my fiancée, in a white slip that was supposed to be for our wedding night, and Ryan, our wedding planner, the man I'd paid $15,000 to make our day perfect. They scrambled apart. Amanda's face went white. "Connor, don't." My voice didn't sound like mine, too calm, too flat. Ryan grabbed his shirt from the floor. "Look, man, this isn't—" "Get out." He left, fast. Amanda stayed, pulling on a robe, mascara already running down her face. "Connor, please, I can explain." "How long?" "What? How long?" She hesitated. That told me everything. 3 months. 3 months. We'd been engaged for 8. I'd known Ryan for 6. He'd come highly recommended, specialized in high-end weddings. Now I knew why. I looked at the table. Wedding invitations stacked neatly. 300 guests, 300 people who'd already RSVP'd, already booked hotels, already bought gifts. Amanda's purse sat open on the chair. I could see it from where I stood. A little white stick, pink cap, a pregnancy test. "Connor, I need to tell you something." I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I'd planned to spend my life with. The woman who'd said she loved me. The woman who'd been sleeping with our wedding planner for 3 months. "Save it," I said. I walked out, left her there, left the church, left everything. What I saw, there's no forgiveness for that. But that's not even the worst part. I didn't sleep that night, spent the hours staring at my ceiling, phone face down on the nightstand. 47 missed calls from Amanda, 12 from Ryan, 5 from my mother. Morning came too bright, too fast. The knock on my door at 8 a.m. was inevitable. Amanda stood there, eyes swollen, wearing yesterday's clothes. She held something in her hand. "Connor, please, just let me talk." I should have closed the door, should have called off the wedding right then, should have done a lot of things. Instead, I let her in. She sat on my couch, hands shaking. She held up the pregnancy test, 2 pink lines, clear as day. "I'm pregnant." The words hit me like a physical blow. "It's yours, Connor. I know what you saw, I know how it looked, but it was a mistake, one stupid mistake, and I'm pregnant. The baby is yours." My escape route vanished. I couldn't speak, couldn't think. My whole world had just shifted on its axis, again, in less than 12 hours. She pulled out an ultrasound photo, black and white, grainy, a tiny blur in the center. "I had the appointment last week. I was going to surprise you after the wedding, 6 weeks along." I stared at the image, a baby, my baby. "Connor, I made a horrible mistake. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but this baby deserves a father." My phone rang. "Mom," for the 6th time that morning, I answered. "Mom? Connor Mitchell, what on earth is going on?" Amanda called me crying, said you walked out. "Mom, can we talk about this later?" "No, we cannot. I'm coming over." She hung up. Amanda wiped her eyes. I told her about the baby. You what? I had to, Connor. She asked why I was so upset, and I couldn't lie to her. 15 minutes later, Mom walked through my door without knocking. She saw Amanda on the couch, tissues in hand, pregnancy test on the coffee table. She saw me standing by the window, looking anywhere but at them. Then Mom walked in, saw the test, and said the words that would trap me for 5 years. She picked up the pregnancy test with reverent hands, like it was sacred. "A baby," she whispered. Then she looked at me. "Connor, what happened between you and Amanda, whatever it was, that's between you two. But this?" She held up the test. "This is bigger than hurt feelings. This is a child." "Mom, no." Her voice went hard. The voice she used when I was 12, and she caught me lying about breaking Mrs. Henderson's window. "Our family doesn't quit. We don't abandon children. And we certainly don't shame a woman for carrying our grandchild." She pulled out her prayer book from her purse. She always carried it. Her mother's, my grandmother's, worn leather, gold cross embossed on the cover. She'd read from it every Sunday since I was born. "Real men forgive, Connor. Your father forgave me for plenty over the years. That's what marriage is. That's what family is. You'll do the right thing." Amanda looked at me with red-rimmed eyes, hopeful, desperate. Mom opened her prayer book to a marked page. "Love keeps no record of wrongs." That's scripture. That's truth. 300 guests were coming. The church was booked. The flowers were ordered. The honeymoon was paid for. And now there was a baby. My baby. I looked at Amanda. She looked broken, sorry, scared. I looked at Mom. She looked determined, righteous. I looked at the pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. "Okay," I heard myself say. "Okay." Amanda broke down sobbing. Mom pulled her into a hug. "Thank you," Amanda whispered. "Thank you for doing the right thing." Mom smiled through tears. "See? This is how real men behave. Your father would be so proud. If you've ever been pressured into a life-changing decision you knew was wrong, just type, 'I understand' below. You're not alone." 300 guests were coming. Mom wouldn't cancel. And Amanda, she knew she had me. The wedding went forward. Of course it did. The next 6 days were a blur of forced smiles and last-minute preparations. Amanda moved back into my apartment. Mom supervised, made sure we were working on our relationship, made sure I was being supportive of Amanda's pregnancy. The morning sickness started right on schedule. Amanda spent every morning hunched over the toilet. Mom brought her crackers and ginger ale, rubbed her back, murmured encouragements. I watched it all from a distance, numb, going through the motions. The rehearsal dinner was torture. Ryan didn't show up, said he had another wedding to manage, probably for the best. I might have done something I'd regret. Amanda's maid of honor, Jessica, kept shooting me grateful looks, like I was a hero. Like forgiving my cheating fiancé made me noble instead of trapped. My best man, Derek, pulled me aside during cocktail hour. "You sure about this, man?" "No," I said. "Then why?" "She's pregnant." He winced. Yeah." He clinked his beer against mine. "Well, at least you're doing the right thing." That phrase, over and over, the right thing, the right thing, the right thing. What is the right thing when every choice feels wrong? Wedding day arrived like an execution date. I stood at the altar in my grandfather's tuxedo, altered to fit me. Father Michael smiled at me like this was the happiest day of my life. The organ started, the doors opened. Amanda walked down the aisle in white. My mother dabbed her eyes with a handkerchief. 300 people stood. She was beautiful. I'd be lying if I said she wasn't. The dress fit perfectly, no sign of pregnancy yet. Her smile was radiant. To everyone watching, we looked like the perfect couple. Only I knew the truth. She reached the altar, took my hands. Her palms were sweating. Father Michael began. "Dearly beloved." I floated through the ceremony, repeated the words when prompted, heard Amanda's voice, small and trembling, saying her vows. "I promise to be faithful, to honor you, to love you." Faithful, the word stuck in my throat like broken glass. Then came the rings. Ryan handed them to Father Michael. Ryan actually showed up, stood right there as our wedding planner, handing over the symbols of our eternal commitment. The man who'd been in bed with my fiancée 6 days ago was handing me the ring I'd slide onto her finger and promise forever. My grandmother's wedding set. White gold, vintage 1940s. She'd given them to me before she died. "Give these to someone who deserves them," she'd said. Ryan handed me the ring. Our eyes met for a split second. He looked smug, satisfied. I wanted to shatter his face. Instead, I took the ring. "Connor, do you take Amanda?" "I do." I slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. She'd tried it on a dozen times during our engagement, giddy every time. "Amanda, do you take Connor?" "I do." Her voice broke. Real tears rolled down her cheeks. "I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." I kissed her. The church erupted in applause. Organ music swelled. We walked back down the aisle to cheers and camera flashes. We were married. I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life, and 300 people were celebrating it. The reception was at the Grandview Hotel. Ryan's company had decorated it. White roses everywhere, candles, fairy lights. It looked like something from a magazine. I shook hands, smiled for photos, cut the cake, did the first dance while everyone watched. Amanda rested her head on my shoulder during the slow song. "Thank you," she whispered. "I know I don't deserve this. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you." I didn't answer, just moved through the steps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Mom found me during cocktail hour. She pulled me into a hug. "I'm so proud of you, Connor. You chose family. You chose what matters." "Thanks, Mom." She held my face in her hands. "Your father is watching from heaven, and he's so proud too. You're a good man, a real man." There was that phrase again. The reception wound down. People started leaving. Amanda and I cut out early. We had a flight to Cancun in the morning. Honeymoon, already paid for. Non-refundable. We drove home in silence. She fell asleep in the passenger seat, exhausted from the day. I watched her in the quiet, her face peaceful, her hand resting on her stomach. My wife, my pregnant wife. At the reception, Amanda whispered something that made my blood freeze. We were alone for a moment, near the gift table. She leaned in close, champagne on her breath. Sparkling cider, actually, for the baby. "Thank you for doing the right thing," she said. "Your father would be proud." She mentioned my father, my dad, who died when I was 19. My dad who'd left me nothing but debt and a beat-up truck. Or so I thought. She had no idea how much he was actually worth. Or maybe she did. The first year of marriage was a masterclass in slow-motion collapse. We didn't go on the honeymoon. Amanda said the flight might be dangerous for the baby, so we stayed home, lived in my apartment, played house. She stopped throwing up around week 10. I remember because Mom asked about it. "Oh, I feel so much better," Amanda said, smiling. "Second trimester is supposed to be easier." But I'd started noticing things, small things. The prenatal vitamins I'd bought her, expensive organic ones, the bottle stayed full. I counted once when she was out. Same number of pills. She never had any doctor's appointments. Well, she said she did. "I have a doctor in the city," she'd tell me. "Dr. Richardson. She's a specialist." But there were never any bills, never any appointment cards, never any paperwork. 4 months pregnant, and she was drinking wine when she thought I wasn't looking. I came home early from work one day, walked into the kitchen. She was at the counter, glass of red wine in hand, staring out the window. She saw me and jumped, poured it down the sink. "Connor, I didn't hear you come in." "What was that?" "What?" "The wine." "Oh, that." She laughed too bright. "Just one sip. I read that one sip is okay. Helps with stress." One sip. Sure. The baby room stayed empty. We designated the second bedroom, but Amanda never wanted to talk about furniture, never wanted to look at cribs or changing tables. "There's time," she'd say. "Let's wait until after the anatomy scan." But the anatomy scan never happened. Neither did any scan. 5 months pregnant, then 6. Mom visited every week, brought baby clothes, cooed over Amanda's bump. Except the bump looked wrong, too small, too fake. I was going crazy. I had to be. Women don't fake pregnancies. That's not a real thing people do. But the wine, the vitamins, the missing appointments. I tried to talk to her about it once. Amanda, you haven't been to a single OB appointment that I've seen. She looked hurt. Connor, I told you. Dr. Richardson is in the city. I go during the day while you're at work. Can I come to the next one? I'd rather go alone. It's personal. I'm the father. I know. She touched my arm. You're right. Next appointment, you'll come. I promise. The next appointment never happened. Month 7. She said she had it scheduled. I took the day off work. She canceled that morning. Dr. Richardson had an emergency. We'll reschedule. We never did. Month 8. I stopped asking. Month 9. I was numb, waiting for the inevitable. The baby would come, and everything would be real, and I'd been paranoid for nothing, except. Then she said she miscarried. I was at work. She called me, crying. Connor, come home, please. Something's wrong. I drove 90 miles an hour, ran 3 red lights, got home in 12 minutes. She was on the couch. No blood, no pain, just crying. I lost the baby, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to worry you. Did you go to the hospital? No, I called Dr. Richardson. She said sometimes it just happens. There's nothing they can do. Amanda, we need to go to the ER. No, she grabbed my arm. No hospitals, please. Doctor, Richardson said it's normal. My body it'll take care of it naturally. Please, Connor, I can't go to a hospital. I can't. Mom came over, held Amanda, told me to give her space. These things happen, Connor, Mom said, stroking Amanda's hair. God has a plan. You two will try again. No hospital visit, no doctor confirmation, no body, just gone. I sat in our bedroom that night. Amanda was asleep, sedated with something Mom had given her, some herbal remedy. I stared at the empty baby room, at the flat-pack furniture we'd never assembled, at the clothes Mom had bought that still had tags on them. I almost believed her. Almost. But something in her eyes when she said, I lost it, that wasn't grief. That was relief. Life became a routine, a hollow routine. Amanda and I stayed married. We lived together. We had dinner together. We slept in the same bed. But we weren't really together. Not in any way that mattered. She never mentioned the baby again. Neither did I. Mom kept asking when we'd try again. I'd change the subject. Years passed. 2, 3, 4. I threw myself into work. Amanda got a job at a boutique downtown. We existed in parallel. Roommates with a marriage license. She still saw Ryan. I knew she did. I'd see the text sometimes when she left her phone on the counter. Meeting with the florist. Venue walkthrough. Always wedding stuff. Always Ryan's business. I stopped caring. Or I told myself I did. Then, 4 years and 7 months after our wedding, my father had a heart attack. I got the call at 2 a.m. Mom, hysterical. Connor, it's your dad. The hospital, you need to come now. I didn't correct her. Dad had died when I was 19. She meant Thomas, my stepfather, the man who'd married her when I was 12, who'd raised me, who taught me how to drive and how to shave and how to be a man. I called him Dad because he'd earned it. I drove to County General. Amanda insisted on coming. Mom was in the ICU waiting room, still in her nightgown and winter coat. He just collapsed, she said. We were watching TV and he said his chest hurt and then... Thomas Mitchell died at 4:47 a.m. Massive cardiac arrest. He was 62. The doctor said he probably didn't feel much. That was supposed to be comforting. It wasn't. The funeral was 3 days later. 200 people came. Thomas had been a big deal in town, owned Mitchell & Sons Construction for 40 years, built half the commercial buildings downtown. I delivered the eulogy, said all the right things. He was a good man, a good father. He taught me the value of hard work and integrity. I meant every word. What I didn't know, what none of us knew, was how much he was actually worth. That came out a week later at the lawyer's office. Gerald Bronson, Thomas's attorney for 30 years. Gray hair, wire-rimmed glasses, expensive suit. His office smelled like leather and old books. Mom and I sat across from his desk. Amanda came too. For support, she said. Gerald opened a thick folder. I'll get right to it. Thomas was a very prudent man, very discreet about his finances. What does that mean? Mom asked. It means... Gerald slid a document across the desk. His estate is worth approximately $4.2 million. The room went silent. I'm sorry, I said. Did you say million? Yes, the business, the properties, investments, life insurance. It's all detailed here. Helen, you're the primary beneficiary. The house, the retirement accounts, about $2.1 million in assets. Connor, you inherit the business, the commercial properties, and... He pulled out another document. A separate life insurance policy. Also $2.1 million. The beneficiary was changed 2 years ago to Amanda Mitchell. My blood went cold. What? Gerald looked uncomfortable. The beneficiary was changed from Helen to Amanda approximately 2 years ago. I have the paperwork here. He showed me. Official forms, signatures, dated 18 months after our wedding. Amanda's face was unreadable. I never changed that, I said. Gerald's expression shifted, became very still, very professional. You never authorized this change? No. That's concerning. Mom looked between us. Connor, maybe you forgot. You've been so stressed. I would remember signing away $2.1 million, Mom. Gerald made a note. I'll need to verify the signature. And Connor, there's something else. Thomas left you a letter. He asked that I give it to you privately. Amanda stood up. I'll wait outside. When she was gone, Gerald handed me an envelope. Expensive stationery, my name in Dad's handwriting, that distinctive slant, the slight tremor he'd developed in his last year. I opened it. Connor, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry, son. I wanted more time. I need you to be careful. Not everyone has your best interests at heart. I've seen things in the last few years that worry me. Watch your finances. Watch your wife. Trust your instincts. You're a good man. Better than you know. Protect yourself. Love, Dad's lawyer pulled me aside. Connor, there's something unusual about your life insurance policy. My hands shook. What did he mean by this? Gerald's voice was quiet. Thomas came to see me about 6 months ago. Asked if there was a way to investigate Amanda's background. I told him that wasn't really my area, but I could recommend someone. He said he'd think about it. Did he hire anyone? I don't know. He never mentioned it again. I read the letter again. Watch your wife. He knew. Somehow he knew. Mom was reading over my shoulder. Her face had gone pale. Gerald, I said slowly, how do I verify that signature? I can have it analyzed. It'll take a few weeks. Do it. Amanda changed the beneficiary 2 years ago. I never signed anything. 3 weeks later, Gerald called. The signature's a forgery, not even a good one. I'm recommending you contact law enforcement, Connor. This is fraud. I sat in my car outside the office building, stared at my phone. At the message, forgery, 4 years of marriage, 4 years of pretending everything was fine, and she'd forged my signature to steal my inheritance. I didn't call the police, not yet. I called a private investigator. Rebecca Torres worked out of a strip mall office between a nail salon and a tax preparer. 30-something, sharp eyes, no nonsense handshake. Infidelity? She asked, pulling out a notepad. I already know about that, I said. I need to know about fraud. I told her everything, the affair, the fake pregnancy, the miscarriage that never involved a hospital, the forged signature, Dad's warning. Rebecca wrote it all down. You want me to investigate your wife for insurance fraud? I want you to investigate everything. I want to know if there was ever a pregnancy. I want to know how she got access to my life insurance documents. I want to know what else she's lying about. Rebecca studied me. This could get expensive. I don't care. And if I find something bad, then I want to know. She nodded. Give me 2 weeks. It took her 10 days. I met her back at the strip mall office. She had 3 folders on her desk. Thick ones. Connor, before I show you this, are you sure you want to know? Yes. She opened the first folder, pulled out a photo, an ultrasound image, the same one Amanda had shown me 5 years ago. This ultrasound, it's from a stock photo website, $12.99. She showed me her laptop, a medical image database. The exact same picture, same angle, same measurements, same blur in the center. She bought it, downloaded it, printed it at home. I found the printer in her car's history. She'd connected her phone to it, left a digital trail. My vision blurred. The pregnancy test? Rebecca pulled out another document. Amazon order history. She bought a pack of 20 positive pregnancy tests, pre-filled. They sell them for pranks. She ordered them 3 weeks before your wedding. The room tilted. The prenatal vitamins? Empty bottles filled with regular multivitamins, also Amazon. The doctor visits? There is no Dr. Richardson. I checked every OBGYN in 3 states. No one by that name. No medical records at any hospital under Amanda Mitchell or Amanda Patterson, her maiden name. Then she showed me the birth certificate database. State records. Searchable. No child born to Amanda Mitchell in the last 5 years. No miscarriage reported at any hospital. No pregnancy documented anywhere. No child, no miscarriage, no pregnancy. I couldn't breathe. Connor, are you okay? She was never pregnant. No. It was all fake. Yes. 5 years. 5 years of my life. Trapped in a marriage I never wanted. For a baby that never existed. Rebecca's voice was gentle. There's more. How can there be more? She opened the second folder. Your wedding planner, Ryan Cole. He runs a business called Elite Events, high-end weddings. Except, she pulled out financial records. His clients have a pattern. Rich men, sudden engagements, quick weddings, and then, within a few years, the husbands die. Accidents mostly, heart attacks, one drowning. My stomach dropped. What are you saying? I'm saying Ryan Cole has been involved in 4 weddings in the last 6 years. 3 of those grooms are dead. The 4th, she looked at me, is you, the wives. All collected life insurance. All disappeared within a year of the payout. And Amanda, she pulled out surveillance photos. She and Ryan meet twice a week. Same hotel, same room. The photos showed them, entering together, leaving together, kissing in the parking lot. How long? As far as I can track, since before you met her. Connor, I don't think the affair was a mistake. I think you were the target. I wanted to confront her, but Rebecca said 6 words that changed everything. Wait, there's more. It gets worse. Rebecca opened the 3rd folder. I pulled phone records. Amanda has a second phone, a burner. I tracked it down. Found it in her car, actually. She's not good at hiding things. She played a voicemail on her laptop. Ryan's voice, clear as day. Once the old man dies, we're set. Just keep him believing. The life insurance pays out the moment he's gone. We split it, disappear, start over. Like always. My hands clenched into fists. When was this sent? 3 months before your father died. 3 months. Rebecca played another message. Amanda's voice this time. He's getting suspicious, asking questions about the pregnancy. We need to speed up the timeline. Relax. The miscarriage story worked. He bought it. Now we just wait for the father to die, collect the payout, and we're done. What if he finds out? He won't. He's too nice, too trusting. That's why he was perfect. I couldn't hear over the rushing in my ears. Rebecca kept going. I found their planning emails. They targeted you, Connor. Researched your family for 6 months before you met Amanda. She approached you deliberately. The charity gala where you met, she bought a ticket specifically to meet you. They'd researched my family for 6 months before Amanda accidentally met me at that charity gala. She pulled out more documents, financial records, my father's trust documents. How did they even get these? Ryan's business is a front. He's run this con 3 times before. Amanda's his partner. They meet someone wealthy, she seduces them, they fabricate a reason for quick marriage, usually pregnancy, and then what? Rebecca's face was grim. Then they wait for an inheritance event, or they create one. Create one? Connor, the 3 dead husbands, 2 were car accidents, 1 was a hiking fall, all ruled accidental. She pulled out medical reports, death certificates. But all 3 had recently changed their life insurance beneficiaries. All 3 died within a year of that change. You think Amanda and Ryan killed them? I think you need to hear this recording. She plugged in headphones, handed them to me. This is from yesterday. Amanda called Ryan. I've been monitoring the burner phone. I put them on. Rebecca pressed play. Amanda's voice clear and cold. Nothing like the soft, apologetic tone she used with me. How long until it looks natural? Ryan. Car accidents are easiest. Brake line. Looks like mechanical failure. Or we could do the hiking thing again. Worked with Mark. Amanda, the hiking thing was messy. I prefer clean. Ryan, then brake line. I know a guy. $200. Amanda, when? Ryan, whenever you want, but you need to act more upset around him, more stressed. When it happens, you need to be believable. Amanda, I'm always believable. They laughed, both of them, laughing about killing me. Rebecca stopped the recording. There's an active life insurance policy on you, $3.5 million. You need to hear this recording. She played another one, more recent. Yesterday. Amanda, 5 years is enough. The estate's settled. We just need him gone before he gets suspicious. Ryan, the car's brake line is easy. I know a guy. Looks like mechanical failure. Then you collect, we split 50-50, and you're free. Amanda, what about his mother? Ryan, what about her? She'll be grieving, won't ask questions, especially if you play the devastated widow. Amanda, I can do that. Ryan, I know you can. You've done it before. They were going to kill me. Rebecca's phone rang. She looked at the screen. It's Detective Mills. I called her this morning, gave her everything. She answered, put it on speaker. Ms. Torres, I've reviewed the materials. Mr. Mitchell, you're in danger. We need to act now. How quickly can you get to the station? My mouth was dry. Now? I can come now. Good. Don't go home. Don't contact your wife. Come straight here. I stood up. My legs felt like water. Rebecca stood too. Connor, the police want to wire you. Get them on record discussing this. Can you do that? Could I? Walk back into my house, sit across from my wife, and get her to confess to planning my murder? They were going to kill me. And they'd done this before. 3 other men. 3 other widows who'd gotten inheritance payouts. 1 died in a car accident. Yeah, I said. I can do that. I had a choice. Run, hide, divorce her quietly, or finish this. I chose the wire. Detective Sandra Mills was 40-something. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. She handed me a release form. You understand the risks? If they suspect you're recording, things could escalate. I understand. We'll have units outside your house, unmarked cars. You'll have a panic word. Say, I need to call my mother, and we come in immediately. Understood? Understood. She handed me the wire. Tiny device, smaller than a quarter. Tech officer taped it to my chest, just below my collarbone. Microphone clipped inside my collar. Test, the tech said. I spoke. Testing. My voice came through the speakers in the van. Clear. Perfect. Good. Remember, we need them to explicitly discuss the murder plot. The clearer, the better. Can you do that? I nodded. Rebecca squeezed my shoulder. You've got this. I didn't feel like I had anything. I felt like I was walking into a trap. Except this time, I was the one setting it. I texted Amanda from the parking lot. Coming home early. Need to talk. Important. She replied immediately. Everything okay? We need to talk about the inheritance. There's a problem. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. What kind of problem? Rather discuss in person. Can you be home in an hour? I'll be there. Detective Mills listened through the earpiece. Good. Keep her nervous. Nervous people make mistakes. I drove home. The surveillance van followed at a distance. 2 unmarked cars positioned themselves on my street. I parked in the driveway. Amanda's car was already there, and Ryan's truck. Of course he was here. I walked in. They were in the living room, sitting close on the couch. They moved apart when I entered, but not quickly enough. Connor, Amanda stood up. What's going on? What's the problem with the inheritance? I set my bag down, acted calm. Hey, Ryan, didn't know you'd be here. Just going over some event proposals with Amanda, he said smoothly, too smoothly. I can go. No, stay. This involves you too, actually. His expression flickered, just for a second. I sat down across from them. So, I met with Dad's lawyer this week, Gerald. He was going through the estate paperwork and he found something unusual. Amanda's face was perfectly composed. Unusual how? Apparently there's an issue with how the marriage license was filed, some kind of clerical error. The state's saying it might not be valid. I watched her face, watched it drain of color. What does that mean? She asked. It means they might investigate. Financial records, medical history, all of it, to verify the marriage was legitimate. I poured wine. Amanda's hand shook. Was this the night they planned to do it? Ryan leaned forward. Connor, that sounds like a bureaucratic mix-up. Nothing to worry about. Maybe, but Gerald said if they investigate, they'll look at everything. Insurance policies, bank accounts, anything that changed after the marriage. I poured myself a glass of wine, offered them some. Wine? Amanda took the glass. Her hand shook. Was the wine poisoned? Was this the night? I didn't drink, just held the glass. Thing is, I continued, if the marriage isn't valid, any changes to beneficiaries might be voided, life insurance, stuff like that. Ryan and Amanda exchanged a look. Quick, but I caught it. We should probably stick to the plan, Ryan said carefully. Remember what we discussed, Amanda? About what? I asked. Amanda's eyes went wide. About event planning. About the timeline, Ryan interrupted. Sometimes it's better to accelerate things, get ahead of problems before they become bigger problems. What problems? I asked. Ryan smiled. Dangerous. Well, for instance, your car. Amanda mentioned your brakes seemed loose this morning. You really should get that checked before something happens. My blood turned to ice. Ryan said, maybe we should accelerate the timeline. Your brakes seemed loose this morning, Connor. My brakes are fine. Are they? Amanda, didn't you say you heard a weird sound? Amanda looked trapped. Yes. This morning, when you left for work, I thought I heard grinding. Mechanical failure is serious, Ryan said. Cars are dangerous. One bad brake line. He shrugged. Accidents happen. Is that right? All the time. Terrible tragedies. Wives left widowed, families destroyed. His eyes were cold, calculating. But that's what life insurance is for, right? To take care of people when accidents happen. The Wire was getting all of this. Every word. I needed them to say more. You know what's weird? I said. Dad's lawyer mentioned something. Said there were 3 other guys who'd used Ryan's wedding planning services. All dead now. Isn't that strange? Ryan's smile didn't reach his eyes. Terrible coincidence. Yeah, terrible. Silence filled the room. Amanda broke it. Connor, what are you really asking? I'm asking about the pregnancy that never happened. Her face went white. I'm asking about the ultrasound photo that came from a stock website. I'm asking about the prenatal vitamins that were never taken. I'm asking about the life insurance policy where someone forged my signature. I set down my wine glass. What do you think I'm asking, Amanda? She stood up. You've been investigating me? Someone had to. Ryan stood too. Connor, I think you're upset. You're grieving your father. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking very clearly. Clearer than I have in 5 years. Amanda's voice went hard, cold. The mask dropped. Fine. You want the truth? There was no baby. There was never a baby. You were the mark, Connor, the target. We researched you for months. Ryan found you. I seduced you. We made you believe I was pregnant, made you marry me, and we waited. For what? For your father to die? She was yelling now. For the inheritance. For the life insurance. That's what this was always about. Ryan grabbed her arm. Amanda, shut up. Why? He already knows. Look at him. He knows everything. I stayed calm, needed them to keep talking. And what about the 3 men before me? Ryan's jaw tightened. That's none of your business. Did you kill them? They were accidents. Were they? Yes. Amanda laughed, bitter. Stupid accidents, rich men who trusted the wrong woman, who married too quickly, who changed their life insurance, and then... She snapped her fingers. Mechanical failure, hiking falls, one drowning, terrible tragedies. And I was supposed to be next. You were supposed to die 6 months ago, she screamed. But you wouldn't die. You're too careful, too paranoid, too... Amanda, Ryan pulled her back. Stop talking. But she couldn't stop. The dam had broken. We've been planning this for years, Connor. 5 years of sleeping next to you, pretending to care about you, waiting for the right moment, and now you're ruining it with your stupid investigation and your lawyer and... And what about the accident? I asked quietly. About my brakes? That was the plan, wasn't it? Ryan's face went cold. We should probably stick to the plan. Amanda, remember what we discussed about making it look natural. The car accident, she said. Brake line. Ryan knows someone. $200 and you'd be dead by the end of the week. Then I'd collect. $3.5 million, we'd split it and disappear, just like we always do. Ryan confessed everything, every detail, and the police were listening to every word. The van doors opened. The front door burst open. "Police! Hands in the air!" Detective Mills came through first, weapon drawn. 4 officers behind her. Amanda screamed. Ryan lunged for the back door. 2 officers tackled him. Mills pulled out handcuffs. "Amanda Patterson, Ryan Cole, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, forgery, and attempted insurance fraud." Amanda looked at me, really looked at me, saw the wire under my shirt collar. "You set me up!" she screamed. "You set me up!" "No, Amanda, you set yourself up 5 years ago." Mills read them their rights. Officers searched the house. The surveillance team came in, began cataloging evidence. Rebecca appeared in the doorway. "Connor, you did great. Are you okay?" I wasn't. I didn't know what I was. An officer called from outside. "Detective, found something in the vehicle." We went out. They'd popped Ryan's trunk. Inside, a bottle labeled antifreeze. Except the hazmat officer was shaking her head. "This isn't antifreeze," she said, holding it carefully. "It's ethylene glycol mixed with something else. I'll need to test it, but..." She looked at me. "This would be lethal, fast." In Ryan's car, they found a bottle labeled antifreeze. It wasn't antifreeze. They loaded Amanda and Ryan into separate patrol cars. Amanda was still screaming. Ryan was silent, calculating, probably already thinking about lawyers and deals. Detective Mills pulled me aside. "We'll need you to come to the station, give a full statement. This recording is solid, but we'll need everything for the prosecutor." "There's more," Rebecca said. She'd opened Ryan's laptop, seized his evidence. 3 files, 3 names, James Cordell, Michael Bryant, Stephen Walsh. "The previous victims," Mills said. "Photos, documents, plans, it's all here. He kept records of everything." They found files in Ryan's laptop. 3 other victims. 3 other widows who'd gotten inheritance payouts. 1 died in a car accident. I sat on my front steps, watched the police process my house, watched my wife, ex-wife, scream from the back of a patrol car. 5 years? 5 years of my life, for a lie. But at least I was alive to see justice. They processed the scene for 3 hours. Evidence bags, photos, measurements. The bottle from Ryan's car went to the lab. His laptop went to forensics. Amanda's burner phone. The forged insurance documents. All of it cataloged, tagged, loaded into vehicles. I gave my statement at the station. Told them everything. The affair, the fake pregnancy, the forged signature, Dad's warning letter, Rebecca's investigation, the wire recording. Detective Mills took notes, recorded everything. "You did the right thing," she said when we finished. "A lot of people wouldn't have had the courage. I didn't feel courageous. I felt hollowed out." "What happens now?" "Now, we build the case. The DA will review everything, with the recording, the physical evidence, the laptop files. Connor, this is solid. They're not walking away from this. The other victims, the 3 men who died, we'll investigate. If we can prove murder, that's life without parole, for both of them." I drove home at 2 a.m, crime scene tape across my door. I couldn't go inside, so I drove to Mom's house instead. The lights were on. She opened the door before I could knock, still in her nightgown, eyes red from crying. "Connor, can I come in?" She stepped aside. We sat in her kitchen, the same kitchen where she'd made me breakfast every Sunday growing up, where Dad, Thomas, used to read the paper and drink coffee. "They called me," she said quietly. "The police. Told me Amanda was arrested for conspiracy to murder you. Yeah, they said she was never pregnant, that it was all fake. Yeah." Mom's hands shook as she poured tea. "I pushed you into that marriage. I made you..." "Mom, no." Her voice broke. "I forced you to marry a woman who tried to kill you, because of my beliefs, because I thought I knew what was right, because I wanted a grandchild, and I wanted you to do the right thing, and I..." She sobbed. "I almost got you killed." I placed her prayer book on the table. "You wanted me to do the right thing. They almost killed me, Mom." I'd brought it with me, her prayer book, the one she'd used to convince me to marry Amanda. I set it on the table between us. "You wanted me to do the right thing," I said. "Real men forgive, remember?" She flinched like I'd hit her. "They almost killed me, Mom." They had poison in their car. They were planning to cut my brake lines, and they'd done it before. 3 other men, dead. All because their wives and Ryan Cole decided inheritance money was worth more than human life. Oh God! Mom covered her face. What have I done? You didn't know. I should have known. Thomas tried to tell me. He said something was wrong with Amanda. He said you seemed unhappy, and I told him... She looked at me with devastated eyes. I told him you just needed time. That marriage was hard work. That you'd made a commitment and needed to honor it. Dad knew. He suspected something. Asked me if Amanda seemed off, if the pregnancy seemed real. I got angry with him. Said he was being paranoid and judgmental. She picked up the prayer book with trembling hands. I thought I was protecting family values. I thought I was helping you become a better man. There was no baby, Mom. There never was. Every doctor visit, every symptom, every ultrasound photo. Theater. She bought positive pregnancy tests on Amazon, downloaded stock photos, pretended to have morning sickness. All of it was fake. Oh God, what have I done? The prayer book sat between us. Leather worn from decades of her hands, her mother's hands before that. You know what Thomas's last letter to me said? I pulled it from my pocket, unfolded it, read it aloud. Protect yourself, son. Not everyone has your best interests at heart. Mom broke down sobbing. He knew. He tried to warn you. Yeah. And I silenced him. I told him to stop interfering. I told him... She couldn't continue. We sat in silence. The clock on the wall ticked. 3:15 a.m. Can you forgive me? She whispered. I looked at her. My mother, who'd raised me alone for 7 years before Thomas came along, who'd worked 2 jobs to keep a roof over our heads, who'd taught me to pray and to read and to stand up straight, who loved me, who'd made a terrible mistake that almost cost me my life. I said the same thing she told me 5 years ago. Real men forgive. Then I left. I stood up. Real men forgive, I said. You taught me that, so I'm working on it. But forgiveness takes time, Mom, and I need time. I walked to the door. She didn't follow. Connor, I turned. I'm so sorry. I know. I left. The prayer book stayed on her table. The arraignment was 2 days later. Amanda and Ryan appeared via video from county jail, both in orange jumpsuits, both with public defenders. Their bank accounts had been frozen pending investigation. The charges were read: conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, forgery, identity theft, attempted murder, pending toxicology report on the bottle from Ryan's car. Bail was denied, flight risk, danger to the community. Amanda cried through the entire proceeding. Ryan stayed stone-faced. The trial was set for 3 months later. Those 3 months were surreal. I moved into a hotel, couldn't stay in the house where Amanda had lived, where she'd pretended to be pregnant, where she'd planned my death. I hired a lawyer, filed for annulment based on fraud. It was granted within 6 weeks. The marriage had never been real. She'd lied about everything. The judge agreed. Rebecca continued investigating, found more evidence. Bank accounts in the Cayman Islands, communications with the 3 previous victims, Ryan's pattern going back 7 years. The DA upgraded charges, 3 counts of murder in the 2nd degree, for James Cordell, Michael Bryant, and Stephen Walsh. If convicted, Amanda and Ryan would die in prison. The media picked up the story. Couple accused of Black Widow scheme. The wedding planner of death. Headlines screamed across newspapers and websites. My phone rang constantly. Reporters, true crime podcasters, a producer wanting to make a documentary. I ignored them all. The trial began on a Tuesday in October. County Courthouse. Judge Martha Brennan presiding. Jury of 12. Packed gallery. Media in overflow rooms. I sat in the front row. Mom sat beside me. We hadn't talked much in the 3 months since that night in her kitchen, but she'd called the day before trial. Can I come? She'd asked. Yeah, Mom, you can come. The prosecutor was a woman named Jennifer Chase, 45, sharp suit, sharper mind. She'd prosecuted 3 death penalty cases and won them all. She stood for opening statements. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is about predation. About 2 people, Amanda Patterson and Ryan Cole, who turned marriage into murder, who weaponized love for profit, who killed 3 men and attempted to kill a 4th. She pointed at Connor. That fourth man is Connor Mitchell. He sits here today because he was smart enough, brave enough, to wear a wire and record his would-be killers confessing to their plan. She turned to the jury. Over the next 2 weeks, you'll hear that recording. You'll see the forged documents. You'll hear from forensic experts about the poison found in Mr. Cole's vehicle. You'll hear from financial experts about the pattern. 4 wealthy men, 4 quick engagements, 4 faked pregnancies, 3 deaths, 3 payouts. She paused. Let it sink in. This isn't a case about a marriage gone wrong. This is a case about premeditated murder, and by the end of this trial, you'll have no doubt that Amanda Patterson and Ryan Cole are guilty. The prosecution's case was devastating. Day 1, Rebecca Torres testified, walked the jury through her investigation, the fake pregnancy tests, the stock photo ultrasound, the missing medical records. Day 2, Gerald Bronson, Dad's lawyer, testified about the forged signature on the life insurance policy. Handwriting expert confirmed it was a forgery. Day 3, Detective Mills described the investigation, the burner phone, the surveillance, the recordings. Day 4, they played the wire recording. The courtroom went silent as my voice filled the speakers. I'm asking about the pregnancy that never happened. Amanda's voice cold and hard. There was no baby. There was never a baby. You were the mark, Connor. The prosecutor played the recording. Amanda's voice filled the courtroom. Car accidents are easiest. The jury leaned forward. One woman put her hand over her mouth. The recording continued. Every word, every confession, every detail of the murder plot. When Ryan's voice said, "Break line, $200 and you'd be dead by the end of the week," 2 jurors looked physically ill. Amanda's lawyer objected 3 times. Prejudicial. Inflammatory. Unfairly obtained. Judge Brennan overruled every objection. The jury will hear the entire recording. When it finished, when Amanda's voice said, "We'd split it and disappear, just like we always do," the courtroom erupted. Judge Brennan called for order. Day 5, the laptop files. Digital forensics expert testified. Ryan had kept meticulous records, 3 folders, 3 names, James Cordell, Michael Bryant, Stephen Walsh, photos of each man, their financial information, insurance policies, wedding photos with Amanda, death certificates, notes in Ryan's handwriting, JC, car accident, brake line, payout 1.8 moisture, split 50-50. MB, hiking fall, pushed at summit, payout 2.2 weights, split 50-50. SW, drowning, held under, payout 1.5 Bs, split 50-50. The forensics expert testified, the substance found in Ms. Patterson's vehicle was ethylene glycol mixed with fentanyl, fatal within hours. The gallery gasped. Judge Brennan threatened to clear the room. Day 6, forensics on the poison bottle. Toxicology expert testified. The substance in the bottle was ethylene glycol, antifreeze, mixed with fentanyl, lethal dose. If ingested, death would occur within 2 to 4 hours, would present as cardiac arrest. Very difficult to detect without specific testing. And when was this bottle purchased? The prosecutor asked. Based on the receipt found in Mr. Cole's vehicle, 3 days before Mr. Mitchell discovered the conspiracy. 3 days, they'd been 3 days away from killing me. Day 7, financial experts traced the money from the 3 previous victims. Cayman Island accounts, transfers to Amanda and Ryan, patterns of spending and disappearance. Day 8, I testified. I told the whole story, meeting Amanda at the charity gala, the engagement, finding her with Ryan, the pregnancy announcement, mom's pressure, the wedding, 5 years of a fake marriage, dad's death, the investigation, the wire. Amanda's lawyer cross-examined me. Mr. Mitchell, isn't it possible you misunderstood the conversation you recorded? No. Isn't it possible, Ms. Patterson was speaking hypothetically? Perhaps she was upset speaking out of anger. She said they'd done it 3 times before. She described how they killed those men. That's not hypothetical. You recorded her without her knowledge. That's entrapment. No, the prosecutor objected. It's evidence gathering with police cooperation, and it's completely legal under state law. Judge Brennan sustained. The cross-examination lasted 2 hours. I didn't waver, told the truth. Let the recording speak for itself. Day 9. The defense's turn. Amanda took the stand. Big mistake. She wore a conservative dress, no makeup, hair pulled back, trying to look sympathetic. Her lawyer walked her through a prepared story. I loved Connor. The affair with Ryan was a mistake. I never meant to hurt anyone. The pregnancy, I thought I was pregnant. When I found out I wasn't, I was too scared to tell Connor, so I lied. But I never wanted him dead. Never. The prosecutor stood for cross-examination. Ms. Patterson, you testified you thought you were pregnant, but you purchased fake pregnancy tests 3 weeks before telling Mr. Mitchell. Why would you do that if you actually thought you were pregnant? I wanted to be sure. By buying fake tests? I was confused. You testified you never wanted Mr. Mitchell dead, but on the recording you said, and I quote, "You were supposed to die 6 months ago." What did you mean by that? Amanda's face crumbled. I was angry. I didn't mean... You also said, "We've been planning this for years." Planning what, Ms. Patterson? The marriage. Planning the marriage. Or planning his murder. No. You said, and I quote, "Ryan knows someone, $200, and you'd be dead by the end of the week." What does that mean? Amanda looked at her lawyer, desperate. He couldn't help her. I don't remember saying that. You don't remember? The jury just heard you say it. Shall we play the recording again? No, I mean, I was upset. I wasn't thinking clearly. The prosecutor pulled out the laptop files. These are files from Mr. Cole's computer. Your name appears on financial accounts linked to 3 deceased men. James Cordell, Michael Bryant, Stephen Walsh. Can you explain that? I don't know anything about those men. You don't? Because here's a photo of you at James Cordell's wedding, wearing a wedding dress, marrying him, 3 months before he died in a car accident, an accident that you collected $1.8 million from. The courtroom erupted. Judge Brennan banged her gavel. Amanda broke down. That was different. Different how? Different because you got away with it? I want my lawyer. Your lawyer is sitting right there, Ms. Patterson. Answer the question. Did you marry James Cordell? Yes. Did he die in a car accident 3 months later? Yes. Did you collect $1.8 million in life insurance? Yes, but... And Michael Bryant, did you marry him too? Amanda was crying now, mascara running. I don't have to answer. Did you marry Michael Bryant? Yes. Did he die in a hiking fall? Yes. Did you collect $2.2 million? Yes. The prosecutor let the silence hang. Let the jury absorb it. No further questions. Amanda was led from the stand, sobbing. Her lawyer tried redirect, but it was useless. She'd confessed to everything. Ryan didn't testify. His lawyer advised against it. The defense rested after 2 days. Closing arguments were brief. The prosecutor laid it out simply. They targeted wealthy men, faked pregnancies, forced quick marriages, then killed their husbands and collected insurance money. They did it 3 times successfully. They tried to do it a 4th time. Connor Mitchell is alive today because he was brave enough to investigate, smart enough to wear a wire, and lucky enough to survive. She pointed at Amanda and Ryan. These are predators, murderers, and they deserve to spend the rest of their lives in prison. Amanda's lawyer tried, argued she was a victim of Ryan's manipulation, that she'd been coerced, that she deserved mercy. The jury didn't buy it. They deliberated for 4 hours. The verdict came back on a Friday afternoon. The jury filed in. I couldn't read their faces. Judge Brennan addressed the foreman. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, how do you find? The jury foreman stood. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, we find the defendant, Amanda Patterson, guilty. Guilty! Amanda screamed. Her lawyer grabbed her arm. She collapsed into her chair, sobbing. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder for defendant Ryan Cole, guilty. On the charge of murder in the 2nd degree, victim James Cordell, guilty. Victim Michael Bryant, guilty. Victim Stephen Walsh, guilty. 3 murder convictions. Both defendants. The courtroom erupted in applause. Judge Brennan didn't stop it. Sentencing was set for 3 weeks later. I didn't go to every day of the sentencing phase, but I went to the important ones. Victim impact statements. The families of James, Michael, and Stephen testified. Wives, real widows, not Amanda, children, parents. James's mother. My son was a good man. He was kind. He trusted people. And that trust got him killed. Michael's daughter. I was 8 years old when my dad died. I'm 15 now. I'll never forgive the woman who took him from me. Stephen's brother. He called me the week before he died. Said he was finally happy, finally in love. That woman used his happiness against him. Then it was my turn. I walked to the podium, held Dad's letter in my hand, looked at Amanda and Ryan. You took 5 years of my life. You weaponized my mother's values to trap me in a marriage I never wanted. You faked a pregnancy. You forged my signature. You planned to kill me and make it look like an accident. I held up the letter. My father, my real father, Thomas Mitchell, tried to warn me. He saw what I couldn't. He knew something was wrong. He died before he could protect me, but his warning saved my life. I looked at the judge. The jury saw the truth. You heard the recordings. You saw the evidence. My father's legacy is safe. That's my justice. I sat down. Mom squeezed my hand. Judge Brennan read the sentences. This court has rarely seen such calculated predation. You, Ms. Patterson and Mr. Cole, targeted grieving, hopeful men. You exploited their desire for family and love. You murdered 3 people for financial gain. You attempted to murder a 4th. She looked at Ryan. Mr. Cole, you are the architect of this conspiracy. You recruited Ms. Patterson. You planned the murders. You executed them. For that, you are sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms without possibility of parole, plus 12 years for conspiracy and fraud. Ryan showed no emotion. Ms. Patterson, Judge Brennan's voice was cold. You were not merely a participant. You were an active, willing partner. You married these men. You gained their trust. You watched them die. For that, you were sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms without possibility of parole, plus 8 years for conspiracy and fraud. Additionally, you will pay $4.2 million in restitution to Connor Mitchell for the fraud committed against him. Amanda was sobbing. I'm sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. Your remorse is noted, Judge Brennan said, and rejected. You showed no remorse for your previous victims. You showed no remorse when planning Connor Mitchell's murder. Your remorse now is the remorse of being caught, not the remorse of genuine guilt. The gavel came down. This court is adjourned. As they led her away, Amanda looked at me one last time. Her mascara ran. Her face was blotchy. She whispered, I did love you at first. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Justice Arc, complete Zombies Toilidin's 100 words. And now, transitioning to brief epilogue. 8 months later, I stood at Dad's grave. Thomas Mitchell, beloved husband and father. The headstone was simple. Granite, his dates. A small inscription Mom had chosen. He built with integrity. I held the wedding ring, the one I'd worn for 5 years, my grandmother's ring, the one Ryan had handed me at the altar. I placed it at the base of the headstone. Dad, you tried to warn me. I didn't listen, but I'm listening now. The cemetery was empty. Late afternoon. Golden light through the trees. Peaceful. I pulled out Mom's prayer book. She'd given it back to me last month. Said she couldn't look at it anymore. Said it reminded her of her mistakes. I opened it to a marked page. Grandmother's handwriting in the margin. Forgiveness without boundaries is permission for harm. That's what I'd been missing. What Mom had been missing. Forgiveness doesn't mean erasing consequences. Doesn't mean trusting again. Doesn't mean staying in danger. Real forgiveness has boundaries, has wisdom, has truth. I placed the prayer book on Dad's grave. Let the wind turn its pages. A car honked softly from the parking lot. Sarah, we'd met at a grief support group 3 months ago. She'd lost her husband to actual cancer. Real loss, real grief. We'd been taking it slow. Coffee, walks, conversations about loss and healing and moving forward. She waved from the car, patient, kind. I walked toward her, toward the future, toward whatever came next. The prayer book stayed behind, pages turning in the wind. One settled on a marked passage. The truth will set you free. 1 year after the trial, a letter arrived. Mom's handwriting. I almost didn't open it, but I did. Connor, I returned your grandmother's prayer book to her grave today. She would have wanted you to have boundaries, not blind forgiveness. I'm learning the difference. I'm in therapy now, working through my own guilt, my own mistakes, learning that good intentions don't excuse harm. You taught me that. You taught me that real men do forgive, but they also demand truth. They protect themselves. They set boundaries. I'm sorry it took almost losing you for me to understand. I hope you can forgive me when you're ready. I love you. Mom, I read it twice, set it on my kitchen counter. Sarah came over that night. We cooked dinner together, talked about the letter. Are you going to respond? She asked. Yeah, I said, when I'm ready. And when will that be? I thought about it, about Mom, about the prayer book, about 5 years in a cage of my own making, about Dad's warning, about truth and boundaries and forgiveness. Soon, I said, I'm getting there. She smiled, squeezed my hand. Real men forgive. But first, real men demand the truth.